Good morning, X Barnes, Leslie, and Jimmy. You hear a little bit of Bo and everybody.
You really do.
Man, Bo Diddley, welcome to the Morning X. Good morning, Bo.
Hey, how you doing?
How are you, sir?
Excellent. Well, I'll tell you, that may be the first song we've played in the history of this radio station off a cassette. You know, when you recorded that song, when you would go into a recording studio, I'm guessing that was, I don't know, what year did you record Who Do You Love?
Man, I don't know. It's back in the early 60s, 59, 60, something like that. I don't know.
And did they even have, like, multi-track, or did you just go in and record it?
No, it was 2 tracks.
One take, right?
2 tracks.
Rip through it.
So you would record the band on one track, and then you'd go and sing it over the other?
Yeah.
Man, that
something about like that, you know.
Mm-hmm.
You've definitely influenced so many people in all genres, and you've worked with all the greats. You've collaborated with just about everybody. Is there someone that you've collaborated with that maybe been your proudest moment?
You mean there's somebody that I admire?
Yeah.
That you admire that you worked with?
Oh, I worked with the Rolling Stones, with Ronnie Woods and Joyce Thorogood.
Right.
And a whole bunch of people, though, you know. I can't distinguish one that I like better than the other one. You know, they were all, you know, good friends of mine, and they did jam-up jobs of covering my material.
Have you ever received a call from someone who wanted to work with you that you didn't care to work with?
Oh, yeah. I won't tell you who.
What would be? I'll tell you what. You don't have to tell us who, but what would be? Can you tell us like the reason why you weren't maybe a fan of their music, or?
No, I'm just about a fan of everybody's music, being an entertainer and a musician and all that. You know, I don't knock anybody. I even praise guys that think they got it and they ain't got it. They ain't even found it yet. You know, and I can afford to say that because I know what's supposed to be out there and what the audience and what's going at the time, you know.
Mm-hmm.
And some guys, because of electronics, man, they're getting over like fat rats, you know.
Exactly. Yeah. Well, I know the Beatles were big Bo Diddley fans.
Yeah, but they never covered anything of mine. I ain't figured out yet what the Beatles was doing. You know, they wasn't rock and roll, and a lot of people don't know what to call them. I think they were more or less country pop or something. I don't know, but they was not rock and roll.
Country pop.
Now there are a lot of people who would certainly debate that fact that the Beatles were not rock and roll, but you know,
they had a new thing that was something like myself.
Yeah.
They were different.
I see. So they had their own styles.
Right. They had their own thing, and it caught on, man. And you know, like me, it took me a long time to launch what I was doing, and now it has become a monument.
I'll tell you.
Yeah.
Now, and you know, one of the questions I had when you the first song that you ever used what has become your trademark riff, that ba 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 ba. The first time what was the first song that you recorded with that riff?
You mean Bo Diddley?
The Bo Diddley. Was it Bo Diddley?
Yeah, it was good. That was it.
And at that time, you immediately knew you had hooked into like a real cool sound?
No. I didn't know nothing, man. I'm not going to tell that lie. I didn't know what the hell was going on, you know. You know, and because people did not understand, and when I say people, I mean parents.
Uh-huh.
Parents didn't understand what the heck was going on. And like in Chicago, you know, I was getting over, you know, like I use the term like a fat brat, you know.
Right.
But when I went south, you know, and started into what we call the religious sector, and the kids was jumping around and patting their feet and clapping their hands, parents got really upset.
They thought you were the devil.
Yeah, that's right. I was the devil came with a Cadillac, you know.
I love
and they wanted to run me off the map. You know what I mean? Right quick, because our kids were. I even got accused of playing music that the daughters, young teenage daughters, was getting pregnant and all that. Man, that was in the paper.
That hand jive.
It was
the music was was influencing them to do things they wouldn't ordinarily do.
Gee, it's a shame. It's we don't hear those conversations anymore, do we?
No. Well, I can understand why people would be afraid because something they don't understand. They get upset about it. That's the way America is. Mm-hmm. We waiting. On one hand, we'll wait until somebody slaps us in the face, then we say, "Oh wow, that cat hit me."
Yeah.
Then you get mad. Why not get upset when it starts?
Yeah.
In some instances, but music is music. Big bands and things like this had their day, and I'm pretty sure people got upset when Boogie Woogie came about.
No doubt.
And when I came out with that boom, ting, 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 and people started splitting up. They wasn't dancing together, holding each other no more. They just started wiggling in places. And like when I went to Ed Sullivan, and then Elvis Presley went to Ed Sullivan after I did. They said we were the two nastiest things ever hit the streets, hit the stage.
That's what I was going to say. What was controversial back then and what is controversial now, because the whole Elvis swinging his hips, that was pretty controversial.
Well, he got that from me. He copied me. Nobody tells it what happened, but I was the first one that started that mess.
The hip swinging?
The very first.
Well, it goes with the dung, dung, dung.
Were you friends with Jerry Lee Lewis?
Oh, that's my buddy.
Yeah, because back when, he married his cousin and,
Bono's
and
Jerry.
all that had to have been a scene back then.
Bono's everybody.
Back in those days, people in the hills and stuff like that, I don't think Jerry thought anything about it because it was something that he knew about probably. That his earlier family knew people that had done stuff like this, and he was a young man coming up. It didn't seem like no bad thing to do.
You just saw Hot Cousin, want to marry her.
Yeah, but see, because at one time I was like 14 years old and hanging around with a girl, and one of my uncles told me, he says, she can't be your girlfriend.
Right.
Bo, I know. Just think about if you would have decided to go with the trombone instead of the guitar more. Where would we be now with the trombone, riff?
I'd still be driving a truck in Chicago.
That's right. That's what you did as a kid? You were a truck driver?
Yeah. Well, I was 22, 23 years old.
Now, was that back in the days of, Chicago back in the, let's see, you were born in 28, so back in the early 30s.
No, the early 30s, man. I was still a baby.
But, all right, let's say late 30s. I mean, that was the time of gangsters and stuff back then,
Yeah, I
wasn't
took a lot of days, man, from going to get the newspaper for my mom when the guys was blowing up stores Sunday morning because nobody paid protection. Mm-hmm. I've seen all of that mess.
Man.
I've seen a lot of it, and I'll tell you something, not jumping away from it, but if we don't do something about these teenage kids, we're going to end up back in that same slot.
It's interesting you say that because it kind of goes back to what you're talking about earlier. A lot of people believe that it is music and movies and TV that is influencing kids, much like they said back in your day.
I can't put that on, I can't put that on movies and stuff today. They're looking for a scapegoat. Mm-hmm. You understand what I mean? I'm 70 years old now. You can't tell me that garbage. You understand?
Yeah.
See, they're looking for a scapegoat, and the problem right now is no discipline. See, no discipline, and if you don't discipline a dog and you let him crap in your house, you'll be knee-deep in crap, See, and so you got to discipline him and put him outside to let him know that he can't do that in the house.
Whatever happened to the good old spanking?
I mean, it's good parenting.
Well, that's I don't know how old you are, but I think you're pretty close to be a offspring of the hippie generation.
Well, I'm a little older than that, but
okay, all right. So, but then you understand see, those people. Let me tell you this right quick. Those people that kids went away from home and didn't get a chance to be finished being raised by their parents, like the great grandparents taught them. Then their mama tried to tell them things. They said, "No, I'm going out with the Jimi Hendrix crowd at that area," and then end up getting married, having kids, and stuff like that, and you don't know what to teach your kid. So the kid grows up and gets married. He don't know what to teach his kid because his mama didn't teach him nothing.
Yep.
So now you got do what you feel like doing in the streets. Nobody has the right to tell me anything, and that is wrong. I'm 70 years old. I still have to listen to somebody.
Right now it's no control. Do what
That's
you
it.
want. You come home, no one's home.
I'm gonna say this. I might make a lot of kids mad, but they need to understand what's out there in the streets. If you don't learn it at home, the people in the streets don't care nothing about you.
Right. That's
You
true.
know?
More of this interview you don't want to miss is back in minutes on the Best of the Morning X 99X.